That I'm a single mom,
but he don't know about that.
the fact that I'm a single mom,
He know now.
Hey y'all! So welcome back to our channel. So today we are going to
Drink some wine, of course.
all right, obviously that's like a given, and then we're going to talk about labor,
And
delivery, pregnancy, and all this ghetto-ness that it entails.
Right.
So we got two wines today. This one is Big Jug. I can't pronounce this.
I don't know what it is, but my best friend put me on. She bought this for me last weekend, and it was so good. So I wanted you to try it.
Okay, and then this one, I'm really want to try this one because
you want to do this one first.
Yeah,
St. James Winery Blackberry Blueberry Sweet Wine is what it's called.
I like blackberries and blueberries, so I feel like that should be good. This
All
one
right,
is this. Let me see. It don't really
It just say red wine.
red wine, so it don't really
when
say.
she was telling me about it, she was like, it's not too sweet, which is not, and it's not too dry.
Okay.
So yeah,
I know how I feel about dry wine because y'all know it tastes like box.
Yeah, no, we're not doing no dry wines. When I was picking up wine, it
We
was
just
like
be winging it
all
too.
this. Yes, we just be picking stuff out.
We pick stuff so we can taste it for y'all. So if it's nasty, y'all don't have to taste it.
You need some
You're
more.
welcome. You heard it.
All right.
She's like, you need some more. Remember when Mean Girl, she was like, I'm a pusher. This the alcohol pusher.
Yeah, but
Smell test.
look at the wine glass.
It's so cute. It has my name on it.
And mine says buzzed with a bumblebee.
If you know
And
anything
that's
about me, I love anything personalized. If it got my name on it, I'm all for it. All right, ready? You go first.
It don't
smell bad. It don't smell like box. So let's hope it don't taste
It smell like wine. It
Right.
don't smell like the flavors
Fruit,
either,
right.
though.
I'm scared.
I can taste the fruits.
But it's nasty.
It's not nasty.
You ain't say it was good though. Okay, so it's giving like juice, but like
grape
Sprite.
juice. Yeah.
It's
Sprite
not
grape
nasty.
juice.
It's not. It gave me like grape juice at first, but then it like hit my chest a
Right,
little
right.
bit.
And you can taste the flavor.
You
a
can
little
taste the
bit,
flavor. Yeah.
I mean, I can drink it.
I don't taste blueberry or blackberry. I more so taste grape juice, but I can drink it. So let's get into our labor and delivery. You want to go first since your child is older?
By like 2 days?
First of all, it's a few months, like a month and like 2 days.
No, you go first.
All right, so we want to start. Do we want to start like pregnancy or like how we found out we were pregnant? We won't get into that, or
Let's start at the stuff that you didn't know was going to happen during pregnancy.
okay. So what I didn't know was going to happen. So I knew this kind of goes into how I found that I was pregnant. All the women tell you like your boobs get big, but I didn't know your veins like popped out. Like before I took a pregnancy test, I was in the bathroom, my boobs were hurting, and I looked down. I'm like, yo, I had like big, huge blue veins. So I was like, I'm pregnant. I haven't tested, but I'm pregnant. Like it's no other explanation for this. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that constipation during pregnancy was a thing. Like they say you pee a lot. Yeah, you pee a lot, but I could poop. Like I was like, all right, this ain't it. I don't like this.
So that's how you found out, because you was constipated and you had
No.
blue veins in your boobs?
I found out because my period was supposed to come on February 19th. Yes, I remember exact dates. I have one kid, so I have no reason not to remember exact dates. My period was supposed to come on February 19th of 2017. I had the cramping. My boobs were hurting, which I never got breast pain during my periods, but I was like, maybe my body is changing.
Right.
So I had the cramps. So I'm thinking, like me, I get cramps maybe 2 to 3 days before my period comes anyway.
Yeah.
So I had that. I had the boob pain, and I had this weird inkling for Wawa fruit. I didn't want it from nowhere else. The little fruit things from Wawa, and I was throwing them bitches back. Like I lived near Wawa. I was throwing them back in the little Sizzlies, the turkey and cheese one. You can't get me to eat one now, but I was throwing them back, and I'm like, this Wawa bill add not. So my period was supposed to come on February 19th and go off February 23rd. So on February 23rd, I still had the cramp and I still had all the symptoms. And at this point, I'm peeing a lot now. So I'm like, okay, my period didn't come.
Just no blood. Everything but the blood.
Everything but the blood. So I'm like, okay, let me go get a test. So I got a box of 2 pregnancy tests. One that had the lines and one that had the words. I took the one that had the words first because I'm like, I don't have time to be fighting with these lines. So I took it and it takes like this one you have to wait the full 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes. And so I'm like, let me just walk away, finish doing what I'm doing. I didn't go back for like maybe an hour. I forgot about it. I went back and was like, who in this bitch is pregnant? I was in the house by myself. Who is pregnant? I was like, oh, this can't be it.
Mm-mm.
So I sent the picture to my best friend because the way she told me she was pregnant with my goddaughter was she sent me a picture and said, uh-oh. So I returned the favor. Bitch, we got a
She like,
problem.
it ain't Throwback Thursday. What's going on?
That's how I found out.
Mm-mm. I knew because my scalp was hurting so bad. I
Your
couldn't do
scalp?
nothing to my hip. My scalp was so tender, and my boobs was tender. That's the only
Yeah.
symptoms I had.
But they don't tell you it's a lot of pregnancy symptoms like gum pain. Nobody tells you about the gum pain and the gum bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Or the metallic taste, which I knew about the metallic taste because my sister get that every pregnancy. With my nephew, she would like spit in a can. The metallic
Oh my
taste
god,
was bad.
my niece mom used to carry around a cup and spit. It was disgusting.
That was my sister
But
with my nephew. So
mm-mm.
I took the test. Then I took like 7 more.
I about to say I took at least 5.
I took a lot.
I took 5.
I probably took a test every month during my pregnancy. Just
I went to
like,
the hospital like maybe they got something different. I just went to the hospital.
So the crazy
They like,
thing
girl,
is,
you pregnant? Get out. That's it.
the crazy thing is, I had been to the doctor before because I was on birth control and my period wouldn't stop. So I made a doctor's appointment and they asked you like, what's your appointment for? I'm like, issues with my period.
Right.
So I had the same exact doctor, which I loved her. She was actually, fun fact, she was pregnant when I came in for like when my period wouldn't stop. So I went in, she's like, oh, you having issues with your period again, it won't stop. I said, no, opposite, it won't start. It won't start. So I took a test in the office. I was pregnant. But a month before that, in January, I took a blood test and it said I wasn't pregnant.
I got pregnant in between double shots.
I was on a patch. Let me just, was Carson playing? Well, obviously not. Zion was. The fact that I'm a single mom,
but he don't know about that.
the fact that I'm a single mom,
He know now.
surprise. The fact that I'm a single mom, my son was playing is like the ghetto. Sir, you asked for this. So, like, you know, when you pillow talking that bullshit, and I'm just like, I can't get pregnant. I've been on birth control since I was like 15. I can't get pregnant. It had never happened before.
Right.
Not saying that I couldn't, but it never happened before. God said, stop lying to that man. And
That's what you wanted?
He sprinkled a little Zion.
That's what you wanted?
But listen, I love my son to death. My son changed my life. Like 100%, my son changed my life. Like you said, you was going down a slippery slope. My slope wasn't slippery, but I was going down. And my baby changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was going down in that relationship. That relationship was wearing me down. And I needed my son to be like, nah, sis, we out.
Yep.
And I left. I got pregnant, was like, you know how when you pregnant,
Our
you
kids
smell
saved
stuff?
our lives.
Absolutely. And he's like, killing me softly.
Don't worry, because when we get old, they gonna take care of us.
Right. So, what was I about to say? You know how when they say when you're pregnant, you could smell like everything has a scent?
Yeah.
That bullshit that man was spitting was so strong, I had to go. So, here we are. So, let's get to labor and delivery. And you know how we found out we were pregnant? All the ghetto-ness. I thought I was having a period. Was having a baby.
But let me tell y'all how bad I thought I was having a girl. I wanted a girl so bad.
I knew from the moment they was like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. This is my son. And everybody, my family's predominantly girls. Me and my youngest aunt were pregnant together. She has 3 girls. She was on her 3rd girl. Everybody like, you having a girl? I'm like, can y'all please stop calling my son a girl?
Mine is too. My family is mostly girls, but I wanted a girl so bad.
You know me.
You're definitely a boy mom.
Wow, I'm rough.
Yo, she had a name. She had a room. She had everything.
My son was my son from the rip. Also, fun fact, I planned his first birthday party when I was overdue. I planned his first birthday party.
When the birthday was going big.
him, and only him, and he still had to be forced out. So now that we're talking about that, let's get into labor deal. Okay, so my due date, I don't mind telling my due date because that's not the day he was born, was October 27th. I went for my 40-week checkup that day. They swiped my membranes. They did all that. And people say that swiping the membranes hurt. Maybe I have a different tolerance for pain, but it didn't hurt.
Mine didn't hurt. I mean, I felt like crampy, but it didn't hurt.
I didn't feel none of that. Maybe that's why I didn't go into labor. None of that. So I was mad. I was real mad. And I told my doctor, I'm a nurse, so I told her, I was like, ma'am, I know everything to say for y'all to induce me. I'm going to come to the hospital every day.
Every day.
Every day with I can't breathe. I'm bleeding. Y'all gonna get this baby out of me. Because I got what's called PUPS. It's a rash that a lot of boy moms get when they like pregnant with boys. And I had it all up my stomach. I had to sleep with a cool rag and hydrocortisone on my stomach. It was itchy. I always had my shirt up here because I didn't want nothing touching my stomach. He had to go. I should have known he was going to be a problem.
He was already a problem.
He was already a problem.
Started
off a problem. So they like, okay, we're going to do a non-stress test on Halloween, and then we'll induce you November 7th. Also, don't mind saying that day because that's not the day he was born. So I'm like, the 7th? Oh, okay. I'll see you tomorrow. I didn't go to the ER because I went to my non-stress test, and his heart rate would drop when I was having contractions. Not bad, but enough where they like, okay, we just gonna start the induction process now. Also, the best friend that I mentioned that just had a baby, she was with me. Like I said, she was with me the whole time. She had just got off work. This is like, that's my girl. She's 100% loyal. She had just got off work. She was asleep in the waiting room because she just worked overnight.
Right.
Sitting in the waiting room with me, and we supposed to go to Red Lobster. Do you know I cried? They talking about go right to the hospital. I want my biscuits.
Girl,
I was mad as hell because I had eaten.
Right.
So went to the hospital, called my mom. My mom worked close to where I was about to give birth at, so that was fine. My best friend took my mom home, got her stuff, and my mom got me a hoagie. They like, oh, you can't eat.
Excuse me? That's what I ate before I went to the hospital.
They told me, oh, you can't eat. But I remember they told me they was going to induce me the 7th. I'm thinking,
so
like, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
So I had a bag of Jolly Ranchers because as a pregnant woman, you carry snacks everywhere you go. When I tell you, they wasn't the soft ones. They was the hard ones. When I tell you, I chugged that Jolly Ranchers, and then my stupid ass threw them up. All of them.
Stupid.
But I ain't
You
mind.
knew.
It ain't taste bad. It tastes like Jolly Rancher coming back up. And it's like Jolly Rancher apple juice. Okay, so starting the induction, they gave me what was called Cervidil. So it's like a really, really, really flat tampon that they put inside your cervix because I didn't dilate. My cervix softened, but it wouldn't open. I don't know how that works. I didn't dilate. I was like maybe a fingertip dilated, and in medical world, that's like maybe a half a centimeter.
Right.
So they put that in me. Once I dilated a little bit more, they put a Foley in me and like inflated the balloon to push my cervix open. Once that fell out, my water broke in the hospital, and then they moved me over to the like labor and delivery room because I was in active labor at that point. Fun fact: you have more than one water bag. I did not know that. Also,
yeah, I didn't know that either. And they like when I was in labor, they was like, "Oh, we breaking your water." I'm like, "My water already broke."
My water broke when the balloon came out because I was coughing, and I was like, "Miss, you gotta get this off of me. I'm gonna have a panic attack. It's sticky. It's nasty. It feels like chunky. I ain't like it. I ain't like it." So she was like, "You're okay." I'm not okay. Get it off of me. So that happened. They moved me to the room. Then they're like, "Oh, you can eat." It's like 3 a.m. at this point. Ma'am, I just want to sleep.
Right.
Because my contractions started to get bad. But they put the Cervidil in you, and that makes you contract. My contractions started to get bad. So they gave me medicine for nausea because, like I said,
I'm eating them Jolly Ranchers.
they didn't know that. They thought I was just throwing up because I was in labor. Well, if you're watching this, I had like Jolly Ranchers. So they gave me some, I don't know what it's called, but it puts you to sleep. It helps you with the nausea, but it puts you to sleep.
Yeah, that's what they gave me too.
I was out.
Mm-hmm.
So they was like, "You want to eat?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm fine." So they moved me over, and then I told my nurse because I wanted to last as long as I could. Not gonna say without medicine because, like I said, I had the medicine, but without an epidural. So I told her when it's to the point where I'm about to be at the point where I can't get it, let me know and let me decide if I want to get it. Got to that point, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. Whatever." So I did it, but I did it because a lot of people do it early in labor, and that's what slows down your labor. I did it when I was maybe 7 centimeters. So that way, I was still past that point. I was over the hump.
Right.
So it wasn't, like, it wouldn't really slow me down. I did it, and my nurse was amazing. So she, you had to lean over this like a little table, and she was rubbing my back and stuff. And when the lady stuck
I ain't had no table.
when the lady,
right.
I don't remember what it was.
I had nothing but me and the nurse that was in front of me.
I had like a little table.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't love you
At all. At all.
But when the anesthesiologist stuck it in, I felt blood trickle down my back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm a nurse.
That's not how that works.
I whispered to my nurse, was like, I'm bleeding. She did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My nurse was like, shh, shh, it's okay, it's okay.
Oh no.
So I'm like, whatever. I got it, but the contractions did stop. They didn't stop, but they weren't as bad for a while. I was like, okay. A few hours later, I'm like feeling really, really, really bad back contractions, but only on one side of my body. So, like when they hook you up to the monitor, the green number is the contraction, like the blue number is the baby heart rate. So when the contraction get high, you can see it. So my stupid ass is like, Mom, what's the number? She like, wow. I'm like, is it going down? Is it going down? Like, is it almost over? So, yeah, another anesthesiologist came in, and he was like, well, he put all this ice in a glove and put it on my hand because that's not numb. He's like, what's that feel like? I'm like, it's cold. Then he put it on my leg, on my right side, and he's like, you feel that? I'm like, yeah, it's cold. So my right side wasn't numb at all. That's why I was bleeding.
They love you.
Listen, I didn't even care. I was I'm not gonna say how many days I was overdue. I was overdue. I didn't care. So
just get it out.
He came in and was like, you want me to move the epidural catheter? We can do that. My nurse was charting on the computer. She looked at him, and I don't know, like in her eyes, she saw red. She was like, no, she is 9.5 centimeters. We are gonna have this baby. She will be all right. You need to get out. That's how you advocate for your patients. Because I couldn't say no fast enough. Get out. She told that man and was like, you need to get out.
Because she already did it wrong.
She already did it wrong. You know. So.
You had that baby.
I had this baby.
You pushed it out.
So what they did was.
Epidural.
Basically, no epidural. So they put a mirror in front of you. Any woman who is out there who may want to have children or who is pregnant, do not let them put a mirror in front of you. That will taint your mind. Do not let them do that. They ask you, do you want to see it? You do not. And take it from me, you do not. Shit gets real. It gets real and it gets big. You don't want to see it. So they had the mirror in front of me. So they're like, oh, he has so much hair. Okay, get him out.
Right, you talking about the hair? I don't
care about the hair. I need the shoulders to pass. I see his little hairy ass with his shoulders pass. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And I felt myself like crawling up the table. And I felt like something popped. And then it was like burn for a second. And then he was out. But he didn't cry. Again.
That don't seem that bad.
It wasn't bad. And I felt like if I would have a child, I can do it naturally. Maybe. Naturally meaning no epidural. Again, if they offer me them drugs for nausea, I'm taking it because that helps.
No, because you're not going to eat this time.
Yeah, I might. I don't listen. So he didn't cry when he came out. A lot of people, like when you think of labor and delivery, you think of that baby's first birthday, like screaming and crying.
Right.
Not my son.
Mine's either.
So
I still had that picture
freaking
of him
out.
when he came out because he was looking at everybody like,
I was freaking out.
Here.
I was so scared. So in the delivery room with me was my mom and my grandma. So my mom is standing next to me. My mom and my grandma were both holding the legs. My grandma, like I said, don't get the mirror because my grandma could see it all. She had to sit down. she had to sit down. But my mom was like crying, like her daughter just had a baby, and I'm like upset. Give me my baby. He's not crying. Right. Y'all not doing nothing. He still didn't cry yet. I'll fix him. Give him to me. My mom like, he's fine, but he's not crying. Give him to me. So she took a picture of him. He was laying there like this, face balled up. Like, who are you people? They laid him on me. He looked up at me. I looked down at him. I looked crazy. I didn't have time to get my hair done. I looked crazy. And he shit.
Don't talk about how I look.
He shit all down my side.
No, he didn't.
All down, but the side that was numb. So I didn't feel it. The nurse was like, oh, he was had his first poop. He's still looking at me, and I'm looking at him. Like, this is how we start this relationship.
Yep, and that's still how it's going.
Because he's still full of shit. So that was that. After a few hours, because the epidural was only on one side, it wore off. I would walk to the bathroom. My nurse came in like, where are you going? To pee. They gave me a little pad sickle. The pad sickle with the panties with the ice. Heaven sent.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have one stitch. Just one. And I felt them stitching me up because I wasn't numb. And the needle poked me. And I was like, oh, sir. You ever get poked in here in the sewing? That's what it Like, you all right?
Right.
I'm gonna need to use it when you're done. Relax. So that happened.
You was trying to make sure that you good.
And I appreciate it. That was it. So when I had my son, they didn't have a nursery, so it was just us. He was looking at me all night. I'm looking at him.
Yep.
You sure you want to be a part of this relationship? He wanted to
He
stay.
was there.
3 years later, that's my boy. To this day, that's my heart. But that boy is crazy as hell.
Listen, mine isn't that special.
Mine ain't special either. I was pissed.
You was going through a lot.
Get this baby out of here.
You went through a lot. So
Mhm.
my water broke at home in the bed. I sat there for at least an hour because I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, did I pee on myself? I don't know what I was dreaming about, but I woke up like, oh, did I pee on myself?
That dreaming about going to the bathroom is vicious.
It is. I'm like, wait a minute. So I ain't moved.
So was you laying next to your husband?
Yes.
He probably was like, what the fuck?
He was asleep. It wasn't that much. I just felt something trickle down my leg. And I'm like, what is that?
I think I
So I
did.
just laid there for at least an hour.
Would you touch it?
I didn't do nothing. I didn't move.
If
I
you
didn't even
touched
want to
it-
breathe.
If you touched it, you would have knew that wasn't pee. Because it's thick. Ew,
No,
ew.
I didn't.
You
So
should've
I
touched
felt it.
You
And
should have
then
touched it.
an hour later, I felt it again. So I'm like, all right, let me get up. And then I got up. And once I stood up, it was like a
Oh.
lot.
Ooh.
So I'm like, okay, my
Did you
water
hear it?
broke. No. Because I was still halfway asleep.
I don't know. I always wanted that, like, movie water break scene.
Mm-mm.
And you want that until you get pregnant. You like, that ninth month, you like, all right, it's go time.
Right,
I don't
come
care
on.
where break in. Let's go.
So I woke him up. I'm like, my water broke. He like, so he like, all right, blowing his breath. Like, is you having this baby or am I having this baby? What you mad for? So I'm like, wait, I gotta take a shower first. So I got in the shower first. When I get out the shower,
Wash the goop
I
off.
had to get in the shower first. So I got in the shower real quick, and then I get out the shower, and I see him pacing back and forth in the living room. He just walking back and forth, like, what are you? Who is having this baby?
He said, who keeping it? We gotta keep it every having it. Is this like a surrogate situation? Is his real mom waiting?
I don't know who was having that baby. Me or
Listen,
him.
I think it's setting that he was about to be a parent. He's like,
Wait a
wait a
minute.
minute. Oh shit.
It's real.
I gotta wake up for like another person. He probably like, oh my god, somebody help me.
So, my cousin always told me that she wanted to be there when I had the baby. So I called her, woke her up. She like, all right, I'm getting dressed. And at this time, remember I told you what happened to my car? So I had my mom's car. Good thing I had my mom's car because I don't know how we was getting there.
Right.
But I had my mom's car. We went to go get her. And I'm like, I know they're not going to let me eat. So let's go to Wawa. I got me a sandwich and the juice. I ate that before I got there.
Yeah, they ain't gonna let you eat.
Yep. So, once we got there, I got to the ER. They was like, you want a wheelchair? I'm like, nope. I want to walk. I want to get this baby out as soon as
Right.
possible. So I walked up there. They gave me a gown. I got undressed. And the nurse like, oh, we just got to see if your water broke.
Didn't I tell you? Did you? What do you think I?
She
Did I lie?
was like, all right, open your legs. Put your legs up. I did that all this. Ew. It just fell all on the floor. Like, you know the sound when you spill water on the floor? It was a lot. She was like, oh, okay, your water broke. I told you my water broke.
Wait, what fell? I want to do labor and
The
delivery,
water.
but I don't know if I'm like, cause I was like,
Because nobody told you that. I told you my water broke.
I
You ain't believe me?
was like, okay, cause close your legs back up. Your water broke. That's nasty.
So they put me in a room. I had got my sweep, I think the day before my water broke. Because my water broke on a Thursday. Yeah, and I was going to the doctors every Wednesday. So yeah, I got it the day before. We're going to talk about the stuff that I tried to do to get me into labor later.
But
But
let's talk about that because I tried some stuff too.
I got my sweep the day before. I was like maybe 2 centimeters when I got it. Wednesday when I got to the, my water broke at
2 more than me.
2 in the morning. So we got there at like maybe 3. I was like 3 centimeters when I got there. I wasn't progressing. I progressed up to 5. That's it. They kept trying to come in the room to give me the epidural. I'm like, no, I don't want it. I wasn't feeling my contractions at all. Like, I didn't feel a thing. They like, you having one now, can you feel it? No. I ain't feel it at all. That's why I'm like, I don't want it.
Right.
I was trying to be as natural as possible until I actually really needed it. But they kept
asking.
Pressing it. Like, every 20 minutes they was coming in the room asking me that I wanted it.
No, didn't I tell you no?
So then she like, well, you're not really progressing, and if you gotta do emergency C-section, you're gonna need the epidural, and it's gonna be too late. So I'm like, all right, just give me the epidural.
Right.
The little monitor thing kept falling off. Then they like, we lost his heartbeat. They kicked everybody out the room. I swear my husband was gonna cry at that moment. I know he was crying on the inside.
Like what? But he probably was moving like, get this damn thing off of me. That's why like lost his heartbeat. He like,
but I think. I'm trying to think. I think my husband went to go get something to eat when it happened, and when he came back, everybody, like all the nurses and everybody was in my room. So he like, what's going on? But yeah, then they came in and did the epidural. They kicked everybody out. Like I said, I ain't had nothing to lean over. They just like lean over. The nurse was in front of me, like, you just can't move, just relax.
We ain't had the same nurse. We ain't had the same nurse.
They did it. I ain't had no blood trickling down my back.
We ain't had the same anesthesiologist either.
But I don't know. And then they gave me the medicine to make me go to sleep. I was knocked out. Before they gave me the epidural, though, me and my husband was like playing cards. We was in labor. Like my cousin, like, are you really in labor? I really think Carson like accidentally kicked my water out or something. Because I don't think he was ready. No. If you see how wild he is, he was just like that. No, he kicked it out.
He was like, oh, I dropped something.
Yeah. So yep. Then they like, all right, if he don't, they broke my other water.
Yeah, they had to break my other water.
Yeah, and then they like, all right, if he don't, you're not progressing. I stayed at 5, and they like, we only can give you 24 hours like this.
Mm-hmm. So
24 hours later, they're like, all right, we gotta rush you into an emergency C-section. You gotta pick a person. I picked my husband. He was in
obviously
right. And then while they was cutting me open,
I'll probably say my mom. I'm so sorry.
Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, but my mom wasn't there either. But I probably would have picked him because you gotta go through this just like I gotta go through this. You gotta see everything that's going on.
I would probably say my mom because, like,
sorry, mom, but my mom probably would have got on my nerves in there.
My mom did not, surprisingly, my grandma did not. Now, at the point where she kept taking pictures of me, like I said, I looked a mess. It's one picture
terrible.
where I'm screaming at her, stop taking pictures of me. My hair is all over my head. I'm having a contraction. I'm sitting up in the bed. Like, my face was big. Everything was just 10 times my normal size. Mm-hmm. But other than that, she was fine. Because she didn't really bother me. Like, unless I like said something, she didn't really bother me. But
she probably did. She got kids, so she know.
Because I remember she told me she kicked my grandma when she was pregnant with my brother. So she knew.
So when they took me into the room,
sorry, you guys stay out there. Where's my mom? We're not doing this without my mom.
Girl,
I don't care.
Anyways, when they took me to the room to get my my C-section, they tied me to the cross like I was Jesus.
I don't like that.
I was laying there like this, like nothing. They tied my arms back. I wish I thought I was gonna reach down. Like what?
I think that would make me panic.
Yeah, and I couldn't breathe. And then it was a student down there cutting me open. I hear the doctor explaining to the student what they do. I'm like,
you just made me cringe.
I'm listening like, is he telling them what to do?
Because they hear it gonna be like, doctor, take the scalpel. She don't know.
That's probably why I'm still fat. Because he probably less of
You were supposed to cut that layer, sir.
Right. But yeah, my now husband was sitting next to me. He looked just as scared as me. But when they got the baby out, he looking at us like this. He slept like this for like 2 months. Just looking at us. All mean.
That's still his face.
Yep, still his face. Same face. Yep.
Leave me alone.
And then I'm sitting there while they doing whatever they was doing down there after they got the baby out. The worst part was when they had to get the afterbirth out and they pushed on my stomach. I'm trying to
I think because you got cut, that's why I hurt.
Yeah, but they put all their weight down on my stomach. Yeah,
because they did it to me too, but because I didn't have to be cut, it TMI. But here it comes.
It all came out.
It literally, when they was pushing down, it literally felt like I pooped. Like it slid down my butt, and I was like, "What the fuck?" It was like I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, please don't do that again.
It came out. I screamed so loud.
They was like, "Oh, all your placenta came out intact. You're fine." I'm like, Was that what that was?
I don't know, but
It
it
was-
was. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either.
Mm-mm.
But it didn't hurt. I think because you had just had surgery, that's probably why it hurt.
Yeah. Or maybe because I just wasn't expecting it. It might not have been that painful. I just wasn't expecting it. Maybe. I don't know. But I didn't like that part. But like I said, I couldn't breathe while they were still down there. I'm like, I can't breathe. He like, well, your oxygen is at 99%.
That's cute.
I said I can't breathe if I pass out.
I can't breathe. First of all, I'm big pregnant and I'm on my back. That's for one. That's probably why you can't breathe. I don't care what my oxygen say. What my mouth said was I can't breathe.
And then I'm like, well, how much longer is going to be? He like, do you really want to know? Sir,
Sorry, then
don't play with me. I need somebody else in here because you get on my nerve. He like, maybe 20 minutes. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, I can't breathe. My husband at this point, like, she said she can't breathe.
Right, like you're not gonna keep saying
They're
it.
like, okay, we almost done.
Okay, well give me some more oxygen until you're done. Get it to 100, then I'll feel better.
Right. So they was done. He took me back to my room. They gave me my baby finally. And that was it.
Was you like me? Give me my baby. I was screaming. My mom probably like this girl.
Yeah.
And now I'd be like, go
Because
for
they
it.
took him to the other room when they cut his umbilical cord and everything. I think Ian was over there. I don't remember at this point.
My mom
But when they done, when they was done, it was like, okay, we're all done. I'm like, okay, where's my baby?
That's cute.
Because I ain't see him since then. I seen him when they were still doing it because Ian was holding him for a little bit. But then they took him back. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And then they took me back to my room to be processed to go upstairs.
Mhm.
And that's when they gave me my baby. And then this hospital that I was at, nah, man, I'm not even going to say that part. Yeah, and that's it.
Do you smell a lawsuit?
Mm-mm.
Because I could be your nurse lawyer. That was wrong. That was wrong.
Girl, how many years ago was that?
I don't care. My practice is my practice. You can order like I'm still fat. Y'all fucked up.
Right. You see this stomach? I'm still fat.
You
y'all.
see this fudge? I'm still pregnant. You took the baby a long time ago. No.
Something's wrong.
Right. I don't know. We delivered at the same hospital.
We did.
How do we have different experiences? Well, because you had to have a C-section.
Yeah.
Zion said, all right, I'm going to come. Right before they was like, all right, sis, because you've been in labor
Right.
for how many hours? He was like, okay.
See, my son is a little bit more stubborn than yours.
I ain't had no choice. I didn't say this, but I got Pitocin. He had no choice.
Yeah.
He had no,
They're
he
like,
was
all right,
being-
he's like, all right, mom.
He was, you know how they be throwing people out the club with the bouncers? He was being bounced out. Like, you gotta get out.
So, what type of things did you do to try to put yourself into labor?
Okay. So, nipple stimulation works 100% to put you in labor because that releases your oxytocin. Oxytocin relaxes your cervix. Nurse fact of the day. So, I had my breast pump on my boobs, pumping. No milk was coming out, but I was pumping.
Right.
And I was bouncing on the exercise ball. I lost my mucus plug that night. Nothing else. I lost my mucus plug and I had my bloody show that night. So it worked.
So, I had the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I went for like long walks.
No, I wasn't doing it.
I did. I'm like, I need this baby out. So, the reason why I wanted my baby to come so early is because my birthday is on like the first summer holiday, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband's birthday is like the big summer holiday, 4th of July, that week.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's is Memorial Week, his is 4th of July week. And I wanted my baby to be Labor Day weekend. So I did all this stuff to get him to come Labor Day weekend, and he ain't
And
come.
I'm thinking about his birthday like, but it's not.
I mean,
It-
he a couple weeks. He like a week.
Yeah, because his birthday is right at the month.
Yeah, so it's about a week before. But I wanted him to come there, so I did the castor oil thing. It did not work.
They
It
say,
made me poop.
but
That's
they
it.
say castor oil make the baby poop in the wound and then they swallow it, so that's why I didn't try it.
I tried it. It didn't work. I tried it twice. It
It
didn't
didn't
work. All I did was poop.
Was it nasty?
Yes.
I
Wasn't worth
I
it.
wasn't about to eat that.
But I had
nasty
the exercise
food.
ball, and I think that kind of worked.
I think the
I
movement,
think it kind of worked.
but because like it was so weird because Zion was so low. Like I had to go out of work early because I couldn't drive. I couldn't close my legs. He was so low. And I'm not walking. I'm not walking nowhere. I couldn't my legs sat I sat like this. Like I couldn't close my legs. He was
Right.
so low, but I wouldn't dilate. So I was bouncing on the ball, and I think that usually helps. Like
Yeah,
that
I think
hit
that did
bouncing
help.
against the cervix.
Yeah.
But I just wanted
So
to
where I
out.
was working there at the time, I ain't do nothing. I brought a couple patients back, and that's it.
Where I was working at the
I
time.
was per diem. I was per diem at a hospital. And the doctor that I was working with he was sports medicine, so he really ain't do much.
Yeah. When I was we'll get into that in another video. But right up until I had my son, I was on leave. Because I kept having to go to the hospital because my blood pressure would go and I kept contracting. Like, all the stuff that I went through during pregnancy, for him to have been late was beyond me. Because, like, was always in the hospital for having contractions. They're like, oh, you're dehydrated. Miss, everything I do requires a drink or something to eat. How you gonna tell me I'm dehydrated?
You gotta drink that wine because I'm done and we gotta try the next one.
You poured a whole bunch in my cup and then pour a whole bunch in yours.
Alright, give me some.
That this one?
No, of that one, so I can help you drink it.
I'll drink it.
Alright, drink it. Chug.
Absolutely not. What else? What else? Did you try anything else?
No, that's it.
Did you have a birth plan?
No, I did not.
I'm not one of those people.
I'm not. I mean, the only thing I really wanted was to not get an epidural. I thought I was gonna have a vaginal birth, and I didn't really want an epidural. But
I went in with the same mindset that tell me when I can't get it and let me decide. Don't keep badgering me about it because you're making me mad now. But that was it. I don't know if it's because I work in healthcare or because I just know that you cannot plan how these babies gonna get into this world because it's all on their time. Like, I didn't plan to be as overdue as I was, but Zion said, okay, well, it's my time. I run this shit now.
So how long was you in labor before we actually came? I think mine was it was like 28 hours. 21
hours. Right, so 21 hours from the beginning, like before they even gave me the Cervidil. From then until when I had my son was 21 hours.
Yeah, my water broke at 2 in the morning.
I guess you
at 6 in the morning the next day.
I mean, I guess you would. Like, I don't want to necessarily determine. Like, I don't want people to like guess his birthday, but 21 hours. Yeah, 21 hours. I mean, if you know me, if you know me, you know his birthday. Not that it's not tattooed on me, but okay. Okay.
Whatever.
I love my grandma to death because my grandma don't get on elevators. And where I gave birth at, I think it was on like the 9th floor. So she ain't had no choice. Because the hospital, you know, that particular hospital, it's only steps up to the second floor and then you have to go up on the elevators. So,
I mean, you can just throw it back real quick. Throw it back.
Throw it back. Alcohol player. She was on the
throw it back. She's still on it.
She's still scared. I don't know.
Oh,
I need some water. That was like, all right, I can't drink that yet. Hold on. What else? So we had some questions. Let's say we had questions at one time. Did your water break? Did you go for a term? We both went for a term.
Yeah, Carson came 3 days before his due date.
Lucky you. Did you have a birth plan? No. If you could change anything about your labor and delivery experience, what would you do differently? So mine was fine. Like I just didn't want to be as overdue as I was. Okay. I wanted to give birth when I wanted to give birth, and I think that was what fucked me up because I wanted to do it on my time, and it wasn't about me anymore.
Right. I don't think I would change anything. Like we said, you can't control if you're gonna have a C-section or not. So, but everything else went. Like I said, I wanted to go more natural, but that wasn't.
I mean, because you didn't want to have a C-section naturally.
That's not something I could change.
I wanted a healthy baby. I wanted my baby to not have extra arms and extra legs and extra toes. I wanted him to be healthy. I didn't really care about none of that other stuff. And for the most part, he is healthy. Besides, like, his mental health.
They're annoying, but
it's not his mental health. He's physically healthy. My baby is crazy. Let me see what else. So, what would you rate your labor and delivery experience, 1 to 10?
I would say a 7 overall, only because they kept getting on my nerves about this epidural.
I would say a 10 because
it might have been what they were saying might have been legit, but they didn't explain that to me because they probably thought I didn't understand what was happening, which I get, but this is my experience, right? So I think, like I said, we might have had different nurses on different shifts because my nurse wasn't playing with nobody when it came to me, and it's so crazy because, like I said, I was in labor for 21 hours. The beginning, right when they started to introduce me, I had an older lady as a nurse when I was throwing up the Jolly Ranchers. But after that, I had the same nurse, and it was more than 12 hours. So I don't know if she worked extra hours to stay with me or what it was, but she was with me for well over 12 hours. Right.
And I appreciated that because she was advocating for me. Like, she wasn't playing.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell her something and she wouldn't brush me off. She would like, no, she said this. Like, she wasn't brushing me off. When I told her, I'm like, I can feel all of this. Like, all of it. She's like, well, overall, I think I would rate my labor and delivery experience. I would say a 10 because I had a really good medical team. No, I didn't want to be as overdue as I was, but that wasn't like their fault.
Right, but the actual experience
in itself was good. Besides the fact that my epidural didn't work, but it wasn't even like I was necessarily pushing for epidural anyway. I just got it because I was like, I mean, I'm here.
Right.
I'm paid for it anyway.
So, get into the last month.
You should follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Instagram so that way you can interact with us on Talk to Us Tuesdays. We usually go into the subjects that we're going to talk about in the next video. So if you want to be a part of it, like this,
This is heavy.
Yeah, don't pour me a lot. This poll wasn't necessarily for everybody because everybody that support us don't have kids. But for the most part, all right.
Can you taste this wine? Let's see if you gonna like it. Let's see.
Let's see, cause y'all know I got really like weird palate.
You ain't even taste it.
I don't like
It
it.
touched her lip.
It touched my tongue and my tongue shriveled up. I don't like it.
I like it.
No, it's not too dry, but it's still too dry for me.
Okay, so you don't like dry wine at all.
No, definitely not drinking.
So you don't like sangria?
Yeah,
or it
but
gotta be like the sweet, fruity sangria.
I like sangria, like the one that we had in our first video.
I don't remember that.
Me either, but I drink it all the time, so I mean it's that one. But I like sangria that like got fruit in it. I don't know, I forgot what restaurant I was at, but it had fruit in it. It was good. So that's it for this video. Now you know the stories of our children and not how they came to be, but how they came into the world.
Right.
If you had like a funny or weird or like any like a labor delivery experience, let us know in the comments. We love to engage. We would love to talk about it, just so we can see if your experience was like one of ours or first of all the train.
Really?
If you want to know,
disrespectful.
If your experience was like one of ours, if your experience was completely different, or on the other spectrum, if you want to have kids, has our experience gauged how you want to go about things, like,
or what makes you nervous? Like,
I feel like
no.
I feel like you shouldn't be nervous for childbirth.
I was
nervous, and if I were to have another child, I would be nervous again. But I wouldn't be as nervous because now I know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect with my first baby.
That's what I'm saying. I was only nervous because I didn't know what
to expect. But now that I know what natural labor is like, I'm like, you keep your epidural, sis. I got this. As long as the next baby ain't gonna be overdue, because get him out.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope. Well, you know, they say, at where we deliver that, if your first baby had to be induced, they'll schedule your induction for your 40 weeks.
Right.
We ain't talking about more kids, because my son is a lot right now, so we're not gonna talk
That's
about
because he needed a brother or sister.
No, he don't. He asked for a turtle. My son has never asked for a sibling. I don't know why kids ask for siblings. My son asked for a turtle.
And guess what my son asked for this morning? To get on an airplane.
We planning a trip.
So look at they on YouTube.
Can we make them a YouTube? That's our name. I'm turning the camera off. Don't try to steal it. Don't try to steal it. I can't even get up.
Yes, that's real cute because we could travel all over the world.
I can't even get up fast enough. Somebody like to steal it.
That's real cute though.
So like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. And before you watch this video, watch our other videos. Not that they have anything to do with the other, but
I mean, I'm sure they won't watch the whole video before you said that though.
Okay, but then go back.
So after you watch this video, go watch the other 3 videos,
right? Because
they're really good.
They're really good videos, and we got good feedback, and hopefully, you see it like a progression in us within our 4th video. All right, guys.